Hey, it's Heidi from A Lively Hope, and today I'm going to show you how to do some couching stitches. I'm going to show you on this new kit that I'm designing. I love this quote. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? By Mary Oliver. So here's an example of what we're working on. Let me get my camera steady. So this is an example of couching right here. And on this one is where I'm going to show you how to do it. So I've got my lengths of thread. I'll back this up a little so you can see. I've got my lengths of thread. This is stranded DMC color 501, which is a green I love. And I am splitting it so I'll have 2 strands together. So that's 2 strands and 2 strands. So in order to do couching, you need 2 separate threads and 2 separate needles, although one of the threads lays on top of the fabric and only the other one goes through the fabric repeatedly. So I'm going to tie a knot in both of these. There's one ready. Is the other needle ready? It is very helpful to have a stand like I've got here. I'll link to this. I use this all the time because it is really nice to have 2 hands sometimes. Okay, so with my first thread, I'm going to be working on this leaf right here. So I'm going to come up from underneath, just like we always do. And then this is going to be my thread that outlines this leaf like this and lays on top. So now that I've got it through the fabric one time, I'm going to just poke this into my fabric up here so that needle stays out of the way, but I do still have quite a lot of slack in the thread to allow me to use it to couch with. And now I will bring my other thread. I'm going to get this kind of set up here, following that line. And then I'm going to bring my thread through. And I just go up and over. So I'm kind of tacking my first thread in place. It's a little harder to see because I am using the same color of thread for both of these things, both the thread that's couching and the thread that is being couched. That just happens to be the look I'm going for this time. That isn't always what we do. And again, on this one, I am really just holding it down at places where it changes directions. I'm having a hard time seeing through my camera lens. There we go. I like to hold it in place so I get it just exactly lined up with the guide line. And I always on leaves especially, get one stitch right at the tip, even if it's much closer to the last stitch. Like in this case, these are much closer together than these stitches are. But for me, I want to make sure to have a nice point on the end of that leaf. And so it's worth it to me to have that be a little bit uneven or have the spacing a little different. It's very simple. It goes much more quickly than other stitches might because you're making progress with your thread on top of the fabric rather than only where you go through it. Now that I've reached the end of this leaf, I still have my thread that is on top, and then my thread that is doing the couching is underneath. So I'm going to go down in the fabric right here and come up in the correct spot to do the next leaf. It just gives that a more finished look rather than carrying the thread across the top. So then we just go right back to it. Here is another example of couching that I use pretty frequently. This is just like a big thick yarn, and then I wrap different threads around it, just like we did on that previous one I showed you, but much more close together. It ends up looking a lot like satin stitch over the top, and I just love the effect, the 3D effect, and also the color change as you add different threads. I often do this with threads that I have left over from other projects. The stitching is all done now. And I just need to rinse this in warm water to dissolve this layer of Fabrisolve. That's what my kits all come with, the pattern printed on this, which is water-soluble transfer paper. And I'll show it to you when it's all done.